Hi, David.
Hey, Barry.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. David, with your experience, in your opinion, what is it that makes really, truly great support for people?
Well, first and foremost, I think really great support is dependent on an understanding that we're very relational beings, that being in enduring positive relationships is the most important thing to human beings. And the problem for people who experience disabilities is that they're often very lonely. The root of people's suffering isn't their experience with disability, but rather the isolation that often results from the experience of disability that is the problem. So helping people to develop enduring positive relationships to me seems like the most essential work. Historically, we've separated people from their communities, from their homes, from neighborhood schools. We've done it with the best of intentions. We wanted to help people, but the truth is we separated them from what was most essential to them, which was their community of relationships. And we're trying to work really hard now to undo that, and Options is doing a fabulous job of helping people get connected first to the right support people. You're paying attention to the match, who shows up in their lives, and then helping people to reclaim their community, build back their relationships with their families if they've been lost, or to get connected to new relationships with people in the community. From my standpoint, that's the most important work. You do that well, people get better.
How important is it that the people themselves are actively involved in designing and planning that support?
Well, that's a really critically important question. What we know is that when people feel that the person helping them is listening carefully and taking their cues from that conversation, they're significantly more likely to get better. In fact, in big studies where they look at multiple kinds of approaches, multiple therapies, they find there's very little difference between the therapies. As much as some therapists say, my approach is the right approach, it makes a big difference, when they actually analyze the results, they find the differences aren't so remarkable. But those therapies that really are helpful, when they are helpful, they're helpful because the therapist forms an alliance with the person who's being helped. The person believes that the therapist is working with me to solve these problems. So we know just from a clinical standpoint that that's essential to people's well-being. You just think about it in your own life. If you feel like you get together with people and it's all one-way street, they're not really paying attention to who you are and what's going on, it makes you feel pretty miserable pretty quickly. And that's been the problem a lot for people who experience disabilities over the years, is we haven't really actively involved them in deciding what they wanted their future to be, what they wanted each day to be. We haven't involved them in deciding where they're going to live or who they're going to live with. We haven't involved them in deciding who their support people might be. And the idea that people would be comfortable with that is kind of ludicrous. That we shouldn't be surprised that people have suffered from that. And it's great that there are initiatives now to really be more conscious of that and involve people more in planning about their lives.
Thank you very much for your input this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely.